But we reminded you at the top of the show, we're gonna let you guys one more time in on a little secret. You can actually link your hi-rez account and your Twitch account and get some pretty cool stuff. It's very simple. Just go to hi-rezstudios.com/link. Go there, link it, you get in-game rewards. I see a bunch of people in the chat just spamming stuff and going nuts with it. So please do so. It's super, super easy to make that happen. And then you can also vote with bits and cheering. It's, again, such a painless process. You can also do like a pretty cool Kappa cheer as well. You know, the more you cheer, you get these pretty cool animated emotes, which is cool. But let's take a look at the fan vote, though, because 500 bits for BaRRaCCuDDa, 41 bits for Zapman, and nothing for adapting.
Surprising. I mean, it's not surprising that BaRRaCCuDDa, the hometown hero here in
But it's
Georgia.
Zapman.
It is Zapman, but don't worry, he'll get his chance.
I hope the people in the chat see that and you feel disgusted, okay? No, seriously though, get out there, vote. Let us know who you are cheering for throughout this day. Would it be BaRRaCCuDDa, Zapman, or adapting? All right. Now, with all the bells and whistles, you know, and I feel like a machine that's just letting people know the things that you could do here. With the bells and whistles, we have actually, ironically enough, a new skin that conveniently is a machine. It's actually the Twitch Janus skin. Pretty cool skin.
There's portals with those bells and whistles as well that you can travel to, make some music along the way.
Look at you. Look at you. You're just such a clever, clever little beaver. All right, so the good news is, again, very, very simple stuff. You know, you can get the Twitch Janus with Twitch Prime. Let's actually take a look at the skin because some pretty cool stuff.
Hello, friend. I have the greatest enthusiasm and confidence for this battle. Go team. Combat system online. Do be careful. Hold still, please. A new threshold. Shots fired. I give you my complete assurance that I have zero malfunctions. You can trust me. I enjoy working with people. Their mistakes make me laugh. Recursive loop detected. As expected. Poorly controlled.
All right, so we are back getting ready for our next matchup of the day. It is going to be Luminosity Gaming versus Team Hapi. So this is a very, very popular Luminosity roster that is headed up by two very well-known names in the world of competitive Smite. The one and only, the CCuDDa, BaRRaCCuDDa, and JeffHindla.
It's the Sex Tank together, side by side, ever since after the launch tournament when they started joining their forces together. This duo lane is just always so epic. You can never talk about duo lanes without mentioning those two.
They are two incredible players, and you don't want to get caught in the Sex Tank, let me tell you. You get pretty
Or
dominated.
do you?
I mean, it depends on the situation. Yeah. I mean, my team, we went against them recently, and we actually got 0 kills against them. They're definitely a great roster, and those two are the pinnacle.
But on the other side, though, they're going to be facing off against Team Hapi, which is a squad of players that, you know, I'm sure some players are familiar with, others are not so much. Let's actually run through this here. Maker, we have Santo, Yuan, bluewhale, and Fightingj. And I just want to make Fightingj, it cuts off on my end here, but I actually have more information. So who are some, what's your guys' familiarity with this team? And furthermore, should Luminosity in some degree be a little cautious, especially because this is a best of one and anything could happen here?
I mean, we saw the last best of one, just that anything could happen with that invade that was a little bit botched, so we can see China maybe pulling another upset because China has been known to play a little bit aggressive. They're always looking for ways to use their mechanics. They're not really too focused on objectives.
No, I've definitely heard some things in the grapevine. Maybe they have some kind of more early game orientated picks, possibly the Thanatos and stuff like that. And they'll be putting it in some different lanes. Definitely some unusual strategies.
We can also potentially see some Habwa middle based off of their scrims that they've been doing.
Yeah, and also another matchup too to keep in mind will be the Hunter support combo Maker versus Maker and Santorsky going up against the Sex Tank. So that is going to be a challenge for them without a doubt. And if they are anything like INTZ, hopefully they've done their homework against this very, very game Luminosity roster. And there you see, you know him, you love him. I swear JeffHindla's beard gets more glorious every year. Look at that thing. It's majestic.
How do you think he tames it?
He doesn't, though. He doesn't. You can clearly tell that he just lets the natural, you know, like...
It's wild.
There's no taming the beast.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you can't tame something like that.
You can't tame the beast. Meanwhile, BaRRaCCuDDa, he's all tamed. You know what I mean? Actually, I think he was like really excited because he got a new haircut and he just kept posting about it on Twitter. I was like, you got a haircut, man. Like, you know, congratulations. We get it. But look at that man. Look at him. Just bask in his glory. Everyone just cheer for his beard. To be honest with you, that's just, he knows it too. He's like, oh, I look so good. Yeah.
I mean, with a beard like that, you got to rock it out. Honestly.
I mean, Christmas must have been great for him, man. He, you know, just Santa Claus over here. You gotta love it. All right. So this matchup, you know, it's going to be a challenge for Hapi, right? This is a Chinese team coming in here that will be facing off against Luminosity. And one player in particular on Luminosity that you have to talk about is their mid player, Xenotronics. This guy, such a talented player, but what really stands him apart from everyone else?
The thing about Xenotronics in mid compared to the other teams is the fact that he flex picks a lot with BaRRaCCuDDa between the Soul and the Jing way, and he makes it work.
Yeah, his ADC mid has been definitely something that's allowed BaRRaCCuDDa to get away with that Soul, which he's become almost famous for now. If you think of Soul, you think of Barra, and Xenotronics allows him to do that with these interesting picks like that Xing Wei and sometimes the Neath and stuff like that in the mid lane.
He's also not afraid to bring out the mages, the long-range snipers, the Ra, the Janus, anytime that he's given the opportunity if he wants to be more utility-based.
Yeah, quite well known for his Agni as well. That's definitely something I've been told from the NA teams, is that they kind of fear the Xenotronics Agni a little bit.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay. So as we get ready for the draft phase here, what do you think we're going to see from Hapi? Any, you know, we kind of touched on it at the beginning when we came back from the break. Anything in particular that, you know, catches your attention?
I would expect them to prioritize Thor maybe early on for bluewhale, try to get their jungler to a good start. They really rely on that early pressure out of the solo and the jungle side. So that's something that I'm expecting Hapi to start off early on.
Yeah, what I'm interested to see from this team is, are they going to be picking Anubis? Because we've seen in the past, you know, Chinese kind of really go to that character, and I'm scared for that a little bit. I don't really want to.
Hey, don't hate on Anubis, man.
Look, I ain't a hater.
Don't hate the goop.
Dude, you just gotta take a sip of that haterade. Okay, this is a problem here. No, but the Anubis pick, we saw it, you know, pop up a couple times, especially Worlds in the past, and it's always one of the things that, you know, gets the crowd going. They get super excited about it. But why do we see them go for Anubis? Like, what is it? Just because that's how they approach the game?
It's a high risk, high reward god. Obviously, if you can land your abilities, you land the stun, your ultimate's going to be doing a lot of damage, especially on the land environment ping when there's just minimized. You have more control over your accuracy. So Anubis has one of the highest DPS outbursts compared to most of the other Smite gods. So this is why I think that China prefers this god.
Yeah, that's definitely something they prefer. And another kind of risky character on the forward of risk is the Thanatos. We've definitely seen that a few times coming out of them, and I kind of expect them to pick it, actually.
We could very well see that. I've seen some interesting stuff with the Thanatos out of this team in the scrim rooms before, playing it in the solo lane, surprisingly enough.
I have seen some Thanatos solo, and I'm excited. I want to see that, so they better pick it.
I mean, like, it's not that bad in theory as long as you don't get behind early on, right? Because you could make the global presence rotations in the mid lane. You could potentially try to shut down Xenotronics. So as long as you're able to poke out ScaryD, then maybe we could see some early rotations coming out of the solo lane from Hapi, and then start ganking Xenotronics, starting to kind of dismantle Luminosity's core, and then start going for those objectives.
I don't think it's even a bad strategy as well. I think putting something really high pressure in front of ScaryD, we've known he's kind of suffered from land nerves before. He's looked a bit tetchy in the past, and I think this is one of the events where he's got to kind of prove himself. And if you put something really aggressive against him and he crumbles, you could be rewarded.
Absolutely, and I'm expecting a safer pick out of ScaryD as a result, maybe a Vamana, Amaterasu, trying to get into the mid to late game and then start rotating for those team fights, start making a bigger impact. I don't really expect him to play one of these like aggressive early on picks like Robin, Bologna, anything like that, trying to win the laning phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another pick that's quite crucial, and you know, will it be banned or will it be first picked, is the Soul, right? We know Xenotronics and BaRRaCCuDDa can play it, you know, flawlessly. And have they done the research? Have they been watching, and will they ban it?
It all comes down to the homework.
Yeah.
You were going to say, it all comes down to that, man. Like, if you're coming to this event and you're not doing your research, this is the world championship for Smite. Like, if you are not prepared, and honestly, you know, given the history in other esports with Chinese teams, oftentimes these squads, they come in very prepared, but it is always about the execution. Right now, NA and EU definitely are on top when it comes to the execution and really just being able to play their roles and their gods very, very well and expertly. You know, I'm sure you can agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's crucial that Hapi just don't let BaRRaCCuDDa get out of control, right? He's what Luminosity Gaming are known for. He carries so many games. When you look at a Luminosity win, you look at the player damage, who's on top? Your man BaRRaCCuDDa. He's up there, he's dominating. Don't let him get like double and triple kills around the map. You know, isolate him. Get him out of the game.
Once he gets a few items, about third, fourth item, that's when he's going to start rotating in team fights, maybe pull the Gold Fury early on, trying to bait Hapi into a bad, awkward position, and then the rest of Luminosity is going to capitalize. Mask on your screen there. He's always playing these aggressive junglers as well. He won't ever hesitate to play the Susanoo, the Thor, anything where he will either set up for a kill, or he'll get the kill himself.
Yeah. But if you're Blue Whale, though, you want to be able to get that Thor early on.
Yes.
You don't want to allow Mass to have that freedom to pick a god that is as versatile as Thor is. So that's one thing. There's a lot of, you see, the more that we talk about it, the more I'm realizing you could shut down BaRRaCCuDDa, right? But then you got to worry about Mass in the jungle. And then you could try and focus down on Mass, but then you got to worry about Xenotronics in the mid. And it seems like, to me, there's just too many things that Hapi have to worry about here going into the draft phase, which, to me, does not look good for this Chinese team, Suntouch.
I think you just pull it out. Full mozzarella, 5 rafts. Let's just invade everything. Let's just get every single buff invaded and just go crazy.
One side's about to lose their buff if they do that, honestly. You can't go wrong on one side of the map. Whether you win the solo or you win the duo, then you concentrate on that side for the rest of the game.
If you have 5 rafts, you're guaranteed you're going to get a buff.
At least.
Yeah.
At least the first round of buffs.
You're definitely getting some buffs.
Well, you had mentioned, though, jokes aside, about focusing you know, on those buffs. And one player in particular that you highlighted early on was ScaryD. You talked about how if you put pressure on this guy, he could crumble, especially in this environment. So as we get ready now for the draft phase for Luminosity versus Hapi, let's see if they focus them out. First ban's going to come through, and that will be Luminosity banning out Mercury.
It seems that Luminosity have been doing their homework, and if they're going to ban away Mercury right off the bat, that means that Blue Whale heavily relies on such a mobile character, and yet again, another jungler being targeted away from Blue Whale.
Yeah, we see completely different bans from game 1, obviously, and it's definitely something that must be research orientated, because I've never seen a Mercury ban in a long time.
No, not at all. And now Bologna being banned away as well. We saw what Baskin was able to do with it despite dying early on in the game. He was still applying a lot of pressure. Now Camazotz being banned. This is a god that we haven't seen much of. In the Super Regionals, we saw Divios pull it out, I think twice, maybe 3 times during the Super Regionals. Then we also saw, I think it was Homie Efe pull it out in the jungle. I don't really know whether or not Mass has been practicing this, but they left Terra open, and without hesitation, Luminosity lock it in.
Yeah, that's a terrifying first pick. If you're on the team Hapi, giving someone like JeffHindla the Terra is just terrifying. He's a dominant force, and Hapi hovering the soul, which I mean, you cannot give them Terra soul.
I see what you did there, you know, terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Terrifying. Ha ha!
Nemesis, though. So Nemesis is another great jungler that has a lot of burst potential and a lot of all-in burst potential, more importantly. So we could very easily see Hapi starting to group up and look for ganks off of the Divine Judgment off of Nemesis.
Yeah, no, I like the Nemesis pick. It's actually not bad against Terra, right? You need to burst Terra down.
Jing Wei gets a lot. This is not, I mean, already with these first 2 picks from Luminosity and the Janus, I mean, that's dangerous.
This is a scary Luminosity gaming draft. They pretty much have their comfort picks. Xenotronics, one of his favorite characters is Janus. That's what he's named for. We've got BaRRaCCuDDa, one of the most dominant ADCs, and we have the Terra pick. This is a very scary draft, but Team Hapi responding well with a very burst-heavy comp, I want to say.
I would say so. Bacchus and Nemesis is definitely those 2 gods that you want to be able to synergize well in the small 3v3 skirmishes between your support, middle, and jungler, maybe trying to pick off that Guardian early on in the game before those defensive items come online. We still don't know, though, if that Terra is going to go to ScaryD or JeffHindla. I'm assuming it's going to go to JeffHindla based off of his god picks and tendencies.
I think you want to get ScaryD on something he's comfortable with. Let's get those land nerves, you know, under wraps. Terra's quite a little bit more difficult to play than one of those kind of easier warriors. But I do like the Hapi draft. I like the burst damage they've got. We're going to see the Nemesis ults into back assaults. People are getting drunk.
Somebody's going to get drunk on the side of Luminosity off of that Bacchus. And already we see a lot of mobility on Luminosity. The Janus portals, the Jing Wei passive, Terra global presence is always going to help out ScaryD if he ever gets in trouble as well. So Hapi's going to have to be careful about how they take these engagements, because there's going to be a ticking timer until the rest of Luminosity will show up behind those portals.
I really like the Rat Band as well. That's one of Mar's favorite characters, and we see a Rama pick here. So that's probably going to be a soul mid. Or unless they're going to do something crazy with the Ram mid.
They could pull a Snoopy where, you know, pull out the Ram mid every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
I think, was it Snoopy that started Ram mid?
I believe so. It's definitely not, it's not bad. Oh.
It has its merits, especially. Oh, he's every time. Every time BaRRaCCuDDa hovers over the
flashes here.
Nah, it's going to be, it could be the Osiris. And it will be actually for ScaryD. We were talking about it, that he would more than likely prefer a safer later game character. But with Awilix as well, this means that Luminosity, they're looking to play aggressive right off the bat in that solo lane.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of damage in the solo and jungle. They'll be able to dominate that kind of area. Should have nice fast clear, be able to kind of secure those fire giant harpies, the mid camps and such, and get off to a good lead, hopefully.
Do you expect Luminosity now to follow in the same footsteps as Soar and look for that invade?
I think Luminosity are a pretty straight-up team. I actually think they won't invade. That's my prediction. I think they're going to just be nice and comfortable, just try and get their first game through. And I think they might want to hold some cards back, maybe if they're expecting themselves to win. They might not want to show everything.
All right, gentlemen, well, the draft is locked. Who do you got winning this one?
I think that Luminosity have the better draft at this point. They just have too much global pressure with the Terra, with the Janus. They also have some good damage and guys that can get in that backline, such as the Osiris. So I got to give it to Luminosity.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Luminosity as well. I think they've got a really nice draft. I like Hapi's draft, but it's very hard to execute. Definitely going to have to be on top of their communication, see the Nemesis ults into those Bacchus combos.
Oh boy, well, this is it. Let's see how it all unfolds. Will the Chinese team shock the world, or the hometown heroes come out on top? Let's go ahead, get ready for our second game of the Smite World Championships. Toss it over to our casters.
Thanks a lot, Golden Boy. We're standing by, myself, F-Dot, Aggro, and of course, Funball going to be joining us. How you feeling?
Feeling good, ready for this game. I want to see what China can bring.
This is going to be really exciting. I love Luminosity's draft here. I mean, giving BaRRaCCuDDa Jingwei already is really good, and I love the fact that the first two picks are JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa. These are the two guys that have been around forever. These are who Luminosity are trusting to win the game.
I mean, I always talk about how you have to sort of lean on the people that... Every team is different, and we heard the analysts really talk about this duo lane. Luminosity is driven by these two players, so absolutely have to look towards them.
Yeah, and Terra's a really good god, especially for the early game. Oh, they're looking for the invade. Do they have a hog? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Nope, they don't.
No,
so
no
they're
hog.
looking for the pressure, and if they can, hopefully they can get the speed buff.
Here's the thing, though. We've been talking about the North American team's draft so much, and if you forget about the fact that they have their comfort picks, that's really why we're focusing hard on the draft. Hapi's draft on the right side, that's not a bad look. If you rewind 6 months, this is the dream draft of every North American team. You've got the Nemesis and the Bacchus combo. Somebody's gonna die, and it's gonna happen fast. The reason we're afraid of LG is because these are the comfort picks. If Hapi can overcome that situation, this is a tight match.
Not only that, but the combo between the Bacchus flop into the Nemesis ult isn't going to work against multiple people from Luminosity. Terra can't get knocked up whenever she's got a stone out. And then if you're jumping around mass in the early game, you're going to get gravity surged in and blown up immediately.
Well, that's absolutely the trick there, is the Awilix has been the counter to this draft entirely, and Luminosity is going to start off early with an invade. Nobody on Hapi wants a part of it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about the Bacchus is whenever we picked Bacchus in the SPL, Awilix would always be picked, and if you Bacchus sleep, then you get insta-ulted. You can't do anything about that.
Very, very difficult to deal with, and that's one of those reasons that we saw this draft on the right side for Luminosity was that invade right there. Awilix, Osiris, you can't fight that in the early game. You have to give up your buff, and this is just such a big lead already for Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, the second round of bans out of Hapi was Fenrir and Ratatasker. I would have loved to see the only change out of this draft. I love what Hapi did. I would have loved to see Awilix be said no to.
Especially because last time we saw Mask play that Fenrir, it was a whole lot of jumping around with Ragnarok and not really hitting anyone. And he told me he was never playing that god ever again. So yeah, the Awilix definitely a stronger pick for him.
So about this solo lane matchup, the problem is with Fightingj is that he's not going to have the pressure until later on in the stage, and ScaryD has the pressure, which is what Luminosity need in this first game.
Exactly, yeah, especially because they talked about on the analyst desk so much. ScaryD's confidence level coming into this game is so important in my mind, and so giving him that early lead, giving him a bully in lane like Osiris, I love the draft by Luminosity.
I like the aggression coming out of the dual lane out of Hapi. 50-50 as far as the accuracy is concerned, but just the idea to roll it up on BaRRaCCuDDa. Like the way that's going to go. ScaryD half HP here. Fightingj getting the better of him, but with that Judgment Tether that might turn the course of the battle. Low is Fightingj. ScaryD sticking to it. One shot, one kill. First blood, Luminosity.
That's exactly what you want if you're rooting for Luminosity, is ScaryD getting an early first blood. There it is. Exactly like you said, Funball. Ravana just doesn't have the pressure early on against Osiris.
Yeah, and what ScaryD did there is took the aggro on the creeps while the Fightingj was, he was taking the poke.
There you see, again, another character that Bacchus can't really belly flop, is Jingwei, using that agility that is just so strong up against Bacchus. So that's 3 members of Luminosity that are going to be very difficult for Santorsky to really initiate onto.
One more time, aggression out of Maker. Shots are going to land this time. BaRRaCCuDDa about 40%, bounced on top. Sanctuary used, the stun is going to be strong, but you can see while Maker walking away, not really waiting for the shot.
So I like the Aegis pick into the Bacchus and into the Rama. Because if Bacchus leaps onto Jingwei, then...
Big commit. Big commit. Big commit. Luminosity looping around the backside. 2 players here in blue, in red, but 3 in blue. Maker's going to get away thanks to the beads, but he's going to fall down. Couple of shots. One waiting for it. Xeno gets the kill. It's 2-zip. LG.
Hey, Janus is really good at that. Even though BaRRaCCuDDa's in base, he doesn't even need to be there. He just drop ships the entire team. That was the first time JeffHindla's seen the left lane all game. He's been roaming around. He was helping out Mast and ScaryD on the right-hand side, and the first time he comes over,
big impact, they get the kill on Maker.
Yeah, and it feels like Xenotronics at Super Regionals felt a bit nervous, but in this game he hit all of his AAs, which I didn't expect the mid laner to do, but he's doing pretty well in this game.
And right here, ScaryD chasing 2 players out by his lonesome. I can't establish how important this is. Last time at LAN, ScaryD was almost a liability in the beginning, and slowly he became confident. We saw a single play that blasted him into the future. Now, here at Worlds, a couple of months later, Luminosity can depend on him like any other solo laner, and he's doing what he's supposed to do on the right side. Luminosity have gone from a team that has a duo lane and a couple of other stragglers to a full 5-man squad that everybody has to be aware of.
And that's what you need at Worlds, because you can't have only 1 or 2 players that are going to do everything for you. You need this whole squad to really work together. And you're exactly like you mentioned, Tom, the fact that ScaryD has had this good of a start, just going in, stealing out that speed buff all by himself. He's already got his Ninja Tab Eye online, so those are going to help him box with those autos a little bit more. He's in a great spot right now.
That first blood. As soon as he wound up with the first blood, Ryan, that's when I said, all right, I adjusted myself, and I said, all right, we're going to watch a game where Luminosity is going to be very confident. I said it's going to be an uphill battle for Hapi. If they can it's going to be a good game for Hapi if they can overcome the comfort picks out of LG. It's going to be an uphill battle.
And not only that, but Funball, you were talking about the Sanctuary pickup by BaRRaCCuDDa, and I also love it. We see that Xenotronics has gone for it as well. There's not a whole lot of reliable hard CC for Hapi, really. It's the root from Fightingj, the knockup from Santorsky. I mean, you got the small root, or the small knockup out of Soul as well, but outside of that, you're going to be really looking to Sanctuary away that burst damage, and having a team that has no hard CC, it's very difficult to get reliable burst in team fights.
Yeah, and you don't usually pick up Aegis early on an ADC unless Hapi picked this type of team comp.
Yeah.
And they don't have that type of big burst.
Yeah, the problem with Hapi's situation, there's the ultimates and the Bacchus jump, but Baron's going to be able to avoid it. Aggressively lands, Mask shows up, nice little knockup, and the pull! One couple of hits and it'll be good, but there's the rotation from the mid lane.
Xenotronics not even coming through. We don't even need the help. Mask gonna pick up 1. Xeno picks up the 2nd. Maker up in the sky. I don't think it's gonna matter though. Soul picks up Mask.
And there's the jump up from Ram. He falls down. BaRRa takes 1. Hapi answer back finally, but Luminosity win the fight 3-1, and they'll take the goal.
And ScaryD rotated with just for the goal field because they already got 3 wins. And one thing we also didn't talk about is the Jing has a knock-up for the Awilix, which we just saw.
It was just so chaotic right there. I can't believe Mass was able to track that knocked up Nemesis all the way through. And like you mentioned, ScaryD on point with that rotation. He doesn't have that teleport. He needs to commit to that rotation when that fight first starts breaking out. He does. Fightingj does not. Even if Fightingj did make the rotation, though, I don't think it would have mattered. That Wrath came into play on that speed buff, and they're again on that Gold Fury. I like the decision from Fightingj to stay and farm because he needs it.
Yeah, and Fightingj didn't get anything there. He didn't even get tower poke. That was all minions, and there's nothing he could do there.
So right away, 6 minutes into this game, hold that. Santorsky's getting aggressive. Massive trouble, jumps away, no problem. Luminosity looking for the reset thanks to that Terra heal. And right away, as I was saying, 6.5 into the game, Luminosity lead by 5 kills to 1 and an impressive 3,000 gold.
Another through space and time coming to the speed buff. The whole team is here. Hapi do secure their own speed. Nemesis ult is on a Xeno.
This is scary for LG. Hapi have the numbers. There's the jump on top. There's Fightingj. Gets the first kill. Santorsky takes 2. ScaryD answers back. Still 2-1 China.
Xeno has no mana right now. Has no options to help, just those auto attacks. And as such, everyone's going to try and get out. Santorsky very, very close to death there.
So right there, that was a full commit from Luminosity on the right side, the same way we saw them on the left side. But the difference was Hapi was ready and waiting. 4 players at that speed buff, which was the target for LG.
The other thing is that JeffHindla didn't have his shell, and we saw how important that was earlier on. That time, the Intoxicate hits multiple members of Luminosity and no shell to kind of mitigate that damage.
Yeah, and the Janus ulted in towards the speed buff, and the whole team of LG, they just grouped up for the Bacchus jump.
Yeah, that's another thing when you're in that jungle, and this is where Hapi's draft is going to excel. In the jungle, there's those small corridors. The ultimate comes through from the Janus, and the exit is right exactly where Hapi wanted them to be. So big burst damage, exactly what Hapi asked for, and they're able to get a couple of kills for free.
I mean, the Bacchus, the fat egg, he got a good jump, you know?
I respect that about you, Funball. I love it. This is the right cast to do it, too. I mean, me, the fat egg himself, F-Dot. Yeah, this is the place to do it.
Excellent, of course. Here we go.
Taking a look at some of the items, I'm always curious about different regions and what they think the build paths really are. You can see it looks like Nemesis is going to be looking towards an Ichabod. Hold that thought. BaRRaCCuDDa boxing on the left-hand side.
He's by himself, though, so he's going to have this ultimate force out, safely joining his yuan underneath the tower. Big aggression on a Luminosity there.
Couple ults burned on each side. Mid lane Soul loses hers. Not a big deal at this stage of the game. Not a huge game-changing ultimate. Xenotronics barely gets through the portal. Nice flop there from Santorsky, but just no follow-up available. And that's the problem, is that you have to be pretty close for a lot of the follow-up on this team. You can't really throw a Soul 2 throughout the entire duration of the team fight because it's going to end up hitting someone. You have to be close for slice and dice as well.
There's the ultimate out of the jungler. There's a quick escape out of BaRRaCCuDDa, but still here. Nice shot from the mid lane. And Barra gets the kill on a Santorsky.
That's the problem. When you're going up against the Janus, it looks like a great fight. You're 3-on-1. BaRRaCCuDDa's ultimate is down. We've got the Nemesis ult. Oh, I just got hit in the face by through space and time.
And that's the thing, it's multifaceted. The ultimate catches the dash, and that is one dead Nemesis. Beautiful play from Luminosity. The Terra stun, gotta give a shout out to the support. So rarely celebrated.
So in the early game, it was all ScaryD and how well he was doing, but now it's time to bring it back to the veterans. JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa making stuff happen on the left-hand side. You called it that right there, Tom. Catching the dash with the Nemesis, and then right on point with that knockup was BaRRaCCuDDa. And then, of course, he rolls a little lucky. You know, he's feeling a little sick out here, so he deserves it. That 223 crit coming up big.
Big play right there. Maker is forced to use his purification. It won't result in a kill right now, but keep an eye on this lane. Maker's gonna be in trouble. Here's the rotation into the mid lane, but Mask from behind. Told ya, down goes Maker.
Soul nowhere to go now, stunned out. BaRRaCCuDDa gonna pick up his 4th kill of the game. Left-hand tower goes down, as well as 2 kills the way of Luminosity. They are up a whopping 5K gold already.
So here's the deal, and I pose this question to you, Funball. There's so much pressure from Luminosity on that left side. Hapi have to be looking elsewhere on the map, but we don't see that push in the mid lane the way we saw out of Soar last game when INTZ knocked down Baskin solo. So where does Hapi look this time?
Nemesis needs to gank this Osiris. I feel like Ravana and Nemesis can get the lockdown, but the only problem is that ScaryD has Witchblade, and how can you kill him with that when he's already so far ahead?
And I love that pickup already, especially because we're seeing this attack speed build coming out of that Nemesis. It's already countering that Ichabod.
Well, it's not just a Nemesis. You've got 3 characters that are based on basic attacks, right?
Oh, the pull back! Santorsky nowhere to go. Mask gonna pick him up. There's the problem. When you pick Bacchus into a Willish, where are you gonna go?
See, that you just gotta give it up for my man in the jungle. Mask, that is, so a lot of times when you're playing a Wheelish, you're planning that ultimate, right? And you have all the time in the world, okay, when he jumps, I got him. Bam, I go. Or you're gonna use it aggressively. That right there, that's just instinct, rocket it. And right there, BaRRaCCuDDa's using his instinct. Rob's gonna come down and fall as soon as he lands. Everybody waiting for him. And Zeno gets the last shot.
Bear is just doing whatever he wants right now. He started this engagement by invading this red 2v1 by himself. He's level 14 already. ScaryD, who had that unbelievable start, he's only level 13.
I mean, that's the power. That's the power of Luminosity and their Hunter. Ghost Fury going to go down a 2nd time. Nobody from Hapi even in the vicinity. Down it goes, stretching Luminosity's lead even further. 8K, it's 12-3.
So you've been in this situation a lot, Funball. You're super fed as the Hunter. You can do whatever you want. What are you thinking in this sort of stage? Do you want to rotate and affect the team fights, or do you want to keep everyone on the left side?
I want to play as aggressive as I can, and I want to keep 2 people in one side of the lane. When Rama's rotating now and Bacchus has to defend for now. So what I want to do is force 2 people into the left lane and then rotate to mid as safely as I can. We also have globals.
And you really want to use them. And we've seen Luminosity exert that pressure out of the mid lane incredibly so, almost 4 or 5 times here from Xenotronics' hand. And one more time, we'll see the battle in the duo lane, or the solo lane, excuse me, Osiris versus Fightingj.
Well, these days, there's 2 solo lanes, right? The Hunter lane is now a solo lane. JeffHindla's been there like twice. And then you've got this solo lane over here, and JeffHindla's just doing support things.
On a serious note, though, I'm so impressed with ScaryD. This is a different player than we saw. Beginning of the year, big crit and big damage. BaRRaCCuDDa 3-on-1 gets 1 kill. Looking for the 2nd. Can't find it, but has support from the team. Down comes Terra. Reset it of Hapi. And Mask gonna catch up with the jungler bluewhale.
Yeah, and this is why BaRRaCCuDDa's, he's been in every single major line, and he's so good.
Again.
Where are you going? Santorsky's got nowhere to go. Double kill for Mask. Are you kidding me, BaRRaCCuDDa? I mean, Maker finally feels like he's got an advantage. He rolls in, there's 3 of us here, and then he just gets exploded in the minion wave. Explosive bolts coming up huge. He tried to use the minions to body block, but that's not effective up against Jing.
Soul's going to be in trouble too here. Mask is on the right side, Xeno on the left. Big damage, already down to half HP. Xeno gets credit for the kill on Yuan. And Fightingj gonna jump on from the backside out of Mask. Look, nowhere to go. You run into the jungler or you run into the rest of the team, my friend. Terra's gonna help out. Speeds is good, no knockup. And the pull is not available, so the solo lane is safe. His tower, not so much.
Yeah, and if this is BaRRaCCuDDa playing sick, then I do not want to play against him when he's actually ready in full form.
Well, BaRRaCCuDDa is a player transformed as well. We've really been focusing on the growth of ScaryD and some of these lesser-known players. But when it comes to BaRRaCCuDDa, you're also looking at a completely transformed player. Last year, he was one of the most passive players in the league. Now, this absolutely does not look passive whatsoever.
BaRRaCCuDDa is playing some of the best Smite I've ever seen anyone play, period. Ever since the group stages, in one of the games that I will never forget, his individual performance up against Noble playing Ram. I mean, he just single-handedly put the team in his backpack and carried it, and he's been on a roll ever since. I would not want to face BaRRaCCuDDa sick, healthy, whatever, if I was here at the Smite World Championship.
He just, you know, it's such a lame cliche to say, you know, this player is more hungry, this, that, or a third, but it's really true. When you speak to him, when you see it in his eyes, and right here, this is exactly what we're talking about. Just going for the kills underneath the tower, finding the basics, exerting the ultimate. Maker has met his own Maker.
LG fighting on the right-hand side as well. ScaryD casually walking around 3 people. It's him and JeffHindla now. Through space of time, it's 2.
Out of control, Fightingj half HP. Here comes Xenotronics to the right side. ScaryD still chasing down. He's slowed, nowhere to go. Down goes Santorsky. ScaryD winds up with his 3rd kill of the contest.
Just complete domination right now. 2-man stun from JeffHindla. The shield perfectly timed though. Keeps him alive. Portal from a distance forces the purification onto Soul.
Oh my goodness, just out of control. And you know, that's what I'm talking about, that play. Blink forward, and he's got one more basic. Scary gets credit for it. Mask made that kill happen, and whoever is stuck under this tower is going back to base the hard way. You heard it, it's a rampage for Mask.
Just complete domination right now. I mean, Luminosity is just a well-oiled machine. They're working on all fronts. It started off with ScaryD, Xenotronics has been all over the map. 4-0 and 10 for the mid laner playing this Janus, and this is one of the characters that he looked the most comfortable on during Super Regionals. No surprise team have success again.
Look at this, Baron's playing over-aggressive to force Hapi to come onto him while the rest of the team wraps around the back. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do here.
Yeah, and he can get away with it because he's so far ahead. He has global presence with the Janus, with the Terra. He's just going to get help.
Well, so this is interesting, Funball, because this is the difference between playing Smite and playing this game of Smite, right? BaRRaCCuDDa gets ahead, and he's put in Hapi's mind that he's going to be over-aggressive. He took a 3-on-1 before. He won a 2-on-1. So Hapi says, all right, we finally have the advantage. He's going to be over-aggressive. But then he punishes it because he knows the rest of the team is coming from the backside, and LG cleanup take the tier 2.
We heard it right there, 7 kills in a row. That makes you unstoppable, and that's the exact word that I would use to describe BaRRaCCuDDa right now. And even though BaRRaCCuDDa's had an unbelievable game, take a look at the 3v3 core for Luminosity. Mask, Xenotronics, and JeffHindla all have 15 kill participation, 15 out of the 22 kills. That tells you exactly how tightly they are roaming together. They're using that through space of time. They're moving each other around the map, and they've done it excellently thus far.
We really, like, in all honesty, when it comes down to this, as the Fire Giant goes down, Luminosity collect it. You're going to collect 2 souls here in the mid lane, it looks like, as well. One's certainly going to be the soul of Soul. Mask, on the other hand, splits off by himself, gets Yuan, and there's going to be the kill on to Maker. Mask with the double kill. One more time.
Popping the ultimate just for the additional power. Gonna find Fightingj as well. Mask gets the triple kill. 3 dead, 4 dead make that for Hapi.
Could this be game?
This could be the end.
Yeah, the Phoenix is going to go down. Luminosity show no signs of stopping. The Fire Giant was good enough. There's only 2 defenders, and it's all in the books. 26-3 in just 17 minutes of play. Luminosity Gaming take the squad.
That's exactly what you want if you're Luminosity. You just want to come out, assert your dominance. Everyone had a great game. Like we said, started off with Scary D. Mass finishes the game with a triple kill. JeffHindla played the quintessential support game.
Yeah.
0 kills, 1 million assists, was there when he needed to be. He always seemed to be low health, but was still there to support the team when needed. Flawless gameplay from Luminosity.
And what I like about when you watch JeffHindla is you can always wind up seeing those highlight plays. You can see the dual lane a little bit sick, but certainly not showing in the game. Jeff stops a couple of dashes with a stun, gets 3 or 2 players on the right side with another stun, so it doesn't have to be all in the kill column to wind up on the flash reel.
He just played, they all played great. I don't know what else to really say about it. I mean, Funball, when you go into a game like that, you're favored to win, but to have that sort of performance, that must give you confidence going on.
Yeah, it feels like a completely different team compared to what we saw at the Super Regionals. This feels like a 5-man. This is a top-tier team, and everyone has to be careful.
It's all about the transformation. LG has gone from a humble but crowd favorite to now a fierce competitor. And to break it down, it's all about the numbers. Alex, Golden Boy, and the rest of the squad tell us what they see.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Wow. Okay, in the immortal words of good old JR, that was a slobber knocker. that was definitely LG start to finish, and you can even go as far back as the draft and say that LG clearly were on top, even at the beginning of the draft phase there.
It seemed to me that they got everything that they wanted. They got the Jing, they got the Osiris, they got the Janus, and surprisingly enough, Scary D on this Osiris started off really well, got that first blood from a distance, Kobeing his sickle from a distance, very nicely played, but then it ended with BaRRaCCuDDa just destroying his opposition. He ended the game without a single death, 8-0-7, even finding some solo kills in the process.
Yeah, there's one thing you can't do is give BaRRaCCuDDa Jing for free, and if you do, you have to have a plan for it for sure.
I think that's the last time we're ever going to see Kuda on Jing.
Yeah, I think that might have been a mistake actually to bring out the Jing in this first best-of-1 matchup, because now in the next 3 days, that could bite him later on. Now teams are going to be looking at Luminosity like, all right, you guys got Jing against this team, you're not going to get it against us.
Yeah, we talked about it. You want to lock BaRRaCCuDDa down, you want to isolate him, you want to get him in behind. And Jing is one of the hardest characters to do that against. So much mobility, great ultimate escape, and just an incredible character. And, you know, with the passive, he's going to get ahead, and you do not want BaRRaCCuDDa to be ahead.
It just didn't seem that Hapi really was able to shut down BaRRaCCuDDa in the laning phase. They had 2 members there the whole time. You know, we saw JeffHindla being rotated around to solo lane. They found the early invade in the solo side, but there was not a good enough effort by Santorsky to be able to zone away BaRRaCCuDDa from the minion wave in that dual laning phase, taking away the levels.
Yeah, it's definitely something hard to do against someone who's so experienced and talented in these kind of situations.
Yeah, we see all the kill. Look at the kill differentials between Luminosity and Hapi with the Janus. They were able to really rotate together as a team, just force all these team fights, just so well executed.
Yeah, it's one of those performances where you just see, like, Luminosity are here, and they're hungry for the win, and you can just see that in the perfection of their gameplay.
They were able to just keep doing the Gold Furies. They were grouped up. They utilized their mobility with the Janus, and they got the W.
I mean, I tell you what, man, that was a, you know, we want to make like a, you know, like an old school phase montage. You just take a couple clips of BaRRaCCuDDa and you just toss that together, put it on YouTube with a dazzle, because that was nasty. That was some really good stuff there. I mean, really, you can't speak any better about this team. And the good news is,
what is it?
We're going to be down on the floor with the one and only BaRRaCCuDDa. Take it away, Evan.
It's almost a standing ovation, as much as you can get with everyone just cemented in their seats. But you had a great game. Jing was a god you're on. But besides that, man, you said you were coughing a little bit during that match.
Yeah, I've got the flu, and it's not enjoyable.
So you got the flu, and you did the least amount of traveling than anybody here. You didn't come from Sweden. You didn't come from Brazil. You came 40 minutes, and you're sick.
I'm pretty sure there's someone at hi-rez that just literally infects me at every LAN. Like, one of you guys just has a grudge against me, and I'm not sure who it is, probably Hindu Man.
It's very possible. That could very well be the case. But you had a great game. You were comfortable on Jing. Is this something you anticipate being able to play against some of these more experienced teams against you?
Oh, no, I doubt it. Yeah. Everyone's going to ban Jing from me.
Yeah. And the thing I think that most people wanted to talk about as well was the ability for you to transform. I was there at Super Regionals with you. I was on the desk. We saw, thanks to some help from some buddies, you were able to be here, and now you start off strong. What does it feel like starting this tournament off the way you wanted to?
It feels amazing. We did a lot of research on the Chinese team last night, so we pretty much knew exactly what to ban and take their jungler off their comfort picks. And then off of that, it was just we play our game, we just win.
Going into game 2, does anything change? You've secured your spot in the quarterfinals. You got one more left. I know you're coughing, you're trying to make it. Hopefully you don't throw up enough anymore. Anything change for you guys, or just back to business?
Back to business. We won't play Sora again until finals, so whoever, like you said, we're already in quarterfinals, so it doesn't really affect us like one way or another if we win or lose that match.
All right, well, we're gonna be ready to go to your ballroom and see what kind of action is heading over there. Let's check in, see what they got for us.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the HRX Ballroom. Behind us we have the beautiful Smite, or Paladins Invitational happening. I am here with the one and only Dry Bear. Do you want to maybe give us a rundown of what's happening in the ballroom?
Sure, yeah, so we're over here on the other side, so if you're here at HRX, we're on the opposite side in the ballroom. We're getting started with day number 1 of the Paladins Invitational. It's a $100,000 tournament that teams had to qualify for. We have teams from all over the world actually coming over, North America, Europe, we have Brazil, Latin America, the same kind of regions there. We actually just are in the middle of District 69 up against Team QG. D69 is taking a pretty big lead here. They're 2-0 already. We're seeing a lot of really strong Shaolin play, so Shaolin fans out there, if you're looking for some awesome plays. We have some Victor as well, some cool picks coming on. Maldama's coming out hot. So it's actually really exciting to see the best teams in the world pick up and how they actually tweak the game when they're in a LAN environment, right? It's always different because you have low ping, right? Everything's instant. The LAN environment changes everything. You hear the rumble of the crowd. So day number 1, we're over here. Day number 2, we're moving on and kind of carry on until the semifinals and finals on Sunday. Competing for $100,000. We're actually as well, we're looking for signups for Paladins console. So we have the closed alpha kind of going. You go to paladins.com. You sign up for that if you're looking for, like, you have Xbox or PS4 at home. Kind of play some more Paladins. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. So obviously we've got dual streams going on. Where can they find all of the Paladins action?
So we are broadcasting today on twitch.tv/Paladins game, right? So hi-rez TV is the main broadcast, but we're doing this on the other stage to get Paladins caught up, and then we'll merge later in the weekend.
Nice. And it looks like they're going to get back into game, and we are going to cut to a break. We'll be right back with all the Smite action.